Welcome to our exploration of the Tuatha Dé Danann, the divine tribe of gods and goddesses in Irish mythology. These ancient figures, steeped in legend and mystery, have played a significant role in shaping the cultural identity of Ireland. They are renowned for their magical abilities, their mysterious origins, and their epic battles. Today, we will embark on a journey, tracing their footsteps from their enigmatic beginnings to their golden age, and finally their transformation into the fairy folk of Ireland. But our journey does not stop there. We will also explore the intriguing theory that links these mythical figures to extraterrestrials and the Watchers noted in the infamous Book of Enoch. Theories that, while speculative, add a thrilling twist to the tale of the Tuatha Dé Danann. So, buckle up as we dive into the mystical world of the Tuatha Dé Danann. Prepare to be captivated, intrigued, and perhaps a little bewildered as we unravel the extraordinary saga of this legendary tribe. The Tuatha Dé Danann's story begins in 4 mythical cities. Each of these mystical places, Falius, Gorius, Phineas, and Murius, was renowned for imparting unique skills and magical abilities to their inhabitants. Falius, the city of stone and stability, gifted the Tuatha Dé Danann with the stone of Eiffel. This was no ordinary stone. It was said to cry out in joy beneath the true King of Ireland, a magical relic that held the power to acknowledge rightful sovereignty. Next was Gorius, the city of action and fire, where the Tuatha Dé Danann received the sword of Nuada. This was a blade of unmatched power, a weapon that no one could escape when it was unsheathed in battle. The third city, Phineas, city of wisdom and water, bestowed upon the Tuatha Dé Danann the spear of Lug. More than a mere weapon, this spear was a symbol of victory, ensuring success in every battle for the one who wielded it. Anyone reminded of the Spear of Destiny, that famed Spear of Longinus and sought by Adolf Hitler? Lastly, the city of Murius, known for prosperity and earth, gave the Tuatha Dé Danann the Dagda's cauldron. Again, this was not just any cauldron. It was a magical vessel from which no company ever went away unsatisfied, a symbol of abundance and healing. Each of these cities and their gifts played a significant role in shaping the identity of the Tuatha Dé Danann. They were more than mere places of origin or magical items. They represented the essential elements of the universe: earth, water, fire, and air, and the fundamental virtues of leadership, stability, action, wisdom, and prosperity. Armed with these powerful artifacts, they set sail to their new home, Ireland. Little did they know, their journey would become an epic tale of courage, struggle, and transformation, forever etched in the annals of Irish mythology. Enveloped in a cloak of mist, the Tuatha Dé Danann arrived in Ireland. Their voyage was shrouded in mystery, as if the very elements conspired to hide their passage. The ships that they travelled to Ireland in were unlike any known to man, and required neither oars nor sails to traverse the vast oceans. They possessed the ability to navigate themselves, disappear into mist, and reappear at will, showcasing the Tuatha Dé Danann's mastery over both the elements and the art of enchantment. Their ships, often cloaked in the guise of clouds or fog, allowed them to land unnoticed, symbolizing their connection to the realms beyond human understanding. The mythological accounts of the Tuatha Dé Danann do not explicitly describe their ships as having the ability to fly in the air in the same manner as modern interpretations of flying vehicles. However, the magical properties attributed to these ships suggest they could traverse various domains, possibly including the air, through their mystical capabilities. The narratives often emphasize their ability to cloak themselves in mist or magically vanish, hinting at a form of movement beyond mere sailing across water. This could imply a transcendence of normal physical boundaries, allowing them to navigate different realms, be it across the sea, through mystical portals, or potentially through the air, enveloped in their enchanted mists. Such descriptions highlight the supernatural nature of the Tuatha Dé Danann, portraying them as beings whose powers and modes of transport defy the limitations of the earthly domain, blurring the lines between sailing, flying, and other forms of mythical movement. Their arrival on the Emerald Isle was marked by a decisive and symbolic act. The Tuatha Dé Danann burned their ships upon landing. The significance of this act was twofold. First, it signified a final farewell to their old homes, a poignant goodbye to the cities that had nurtured their unique talents and abilities. But more importantly, it was a clear declaration of their intent to make Ireland their new home, The burning of the ships was not just a practical decision to prevent them from being used by enemies or as a possible escape route. It was a demonstration of resolve, a testament to their determination. It was a message to the inhabitants of Ireland, and perhaps even to themselves, that they were here to stay. The Tuatha Dé Danann arrived with the intention of laying roots, of carving out a space for themselves in this new land. They brought with them their magical treasures, their skills, and their ambitions. They were prepared to fight, to negotiate, and to adapt in order to secure their place on the island. But the island they arrived in was not an empty land waiting to be claimed. It was a land already steeped in its own history, inhabited by the Fir Bolg, who had their own stories, their own culture, and their own claims to the land. The Tuatha Dé Danann were newcomers, and their arrival was destined to disrupt the status quo. Their arrival, however, was not met with open arms. As we will see, the Tuatha Dé Danann's first encounters with the Fir Bolg would set the stage for conflict, negotiation, and ultimately, transformation. The Fir Bolg, the then inhabitants of Ireland, were the first to challenge the Tuatha Dé Danann. The Fir Bolg, a race of men hardened by years of oppression and toil, were not about to relinquish their hard-earned homeland without a fight. The Tuatha Dé Danann, fresh from their journey and armed with their magical treasures, approached the Fir Bolg with an offer of peace. They proposed to divide the land equally, a proposition that surely would have seemed fair to any rational beings. But the Fir Bolg were a proud people, and they were unwilling to cede half their territory to these newcomers. Negotiations ensued, fraught with tension and anticipation. The Tuatha Dé Danann, despite their superior magic and weaponry, were initially patient, willing to seek a peaceful resolution. They respected the Fir Bolg for their tenacity and resilience, qualities they themselves possessed in abundance. However, the Fir Bolg, steadfast and stubborn, refused to yield. Their king, Eochaid MacEirc, was a man of strong convictions and unyielding will. He believed that the Fir Bolg had a rightful claim to the entirety of Ireland, a claim that he was willing to defend with every fibre of his being. As negotiations broke down, it became increasingly apparent that a peaceful resolution was off the table. The Tuatha Dé Danann, despite their initial reluctance, began to prepare for war. They had not journeyed this far, had not left their mythical cities and burned their ships to back down now. The Fir Bolg, in turn, rallied their forces, ready to defend their homeland against these mystical invaders. The tension between the two factions was palpable, a storm brewing on the horizon, threatening to unleash its fury upon the verdant fields of Ireland. The stage was set for a battle that would change the course of Irish history. The first battle of Mag Tuired was imminent, a clash of titans that would test the mettle of both the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Fir Bolg, forever altering the landscape of Irish mythology. The first battle of Mag Tuired was a clash of titans. It was a war that would decide the fate of Ireland, fought by the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Fir Bolg, two powerful races with deep roots in the island's mythology. The battle was fierce and brutal, a testament to the strength and bravery of these ancient warriors. The Tuatha Dé Danann, armed with their magical treasures and exceptional skills, matched the Fir Bolg's tenacity and courage at every turn. Strategies were laid, heroes emerged, and the landscape of Mag Tuired was forever marked by the clash of these titans. King Nuada, the leader of the Tuatha Dé Danann, was a figure of immense importance in this conflict. His tactical genius and bravery inspired his people, turning the tide in their favor. However, victory came at a great cost. Nuada lost his arm in the battle, a wound that had profound implications for his kingship. But the battle wasn't solely about conquest and destruction. There was a sense of respect and honor among these warriors. The Tuatha Dé Danann, despite their victory, treated the defeated Fir Bolg with generosity, allowing them to retain a portion of the land. The aftermath of the battle was a mix of triumph and loss. The Tuatha Dé Danann had won, but their king was gravely wounded, and many of their number had fallen. Yet, it marked the beginning of a new era, an era where the Tuatha Dé Danann would shape Ireland in their image, bringing about advancements in arts, magic, and governance. Despite the victory, the Tuatha Dé Danann's trials were far from over. Their reign was challenged, their resilience tested, and their legacy shaped by the battles that followed. Did you know there are striking similarities between the Tuatha Dé Danann and the stories in the Book of Enoch? The Book of Enoch, an ancient Jewish religious work ascribed to Enoch, the great-grandfather of Noah, is a treasure trove of myth and legend. It's not officially a part of the canonical Bible, but is referenced within it and has influenced many religious, literary, and intellectual traditions. In the Book of Enoch, there are tales of the Watchers, a group of fallen angels who descended to earth. These Watchers, known for their wisdom, taught mankind various skills such as the art of making weapons, cosmetics, mirrors, and the science of astronomy. This is strikingly similar to how the Tuatha Dé Danann, renowned for their magical abilities and knowledge, brought significant advancements to Ireland, influencing arts, magic, and governance. The parallels go deeper. The leader of the Watchers, known as Azazel, like King Nuada, suffered greatly for leading his people. There are also striking similarities between individual characters. Lugh, the shining god of all skills, bears a resemblance to Uriel, the angel of light and wisdom in the Book of Enoch. Both are seen as guiding lights for their people, excelling in numerous skills and arts. These parallels offer a fascinating perspective on the interconnectedness of different mythologies. It suggests that these stories, while geographically and culturally distant, may be born from a common source, perhaps a shared human experience or a collective unconscious. It paints a picture of a world where myth and history intertwine, where gods and angels tread the same ground, and where the magic of the Tuatha Dé Danann finds echoes in the heavenly wisdom of the Watchers. Following their victory, the Tuatha Dé Danann ushered in a golden age. The land of Ireland flourished under their rule, a testament to their wisdom and magical abilities. This was a time of peace, prosperity, and remarkable advancements in the arts, magic, and governance. The Tuatha Dé Danann, known for their ethereal beauty and supernatural powers, were not just warriors, but also skilled artisans, healers, poets, and lawmakers. They took the raw beauty of Ireland and enhanced it, infusing their magic into the very soil, the rivers, the hills, and the forests. The land thrived, and so did its people. In this golden age, we see the rise of notable figures who left indelible marks on the tapestry of Irish mythology. The Dagda, the good god, was revered as a leader of immense wisdom and power. He ruled with a fair hand, and his magical cauldron, one of the four treasures, was said to have the power to bring the dead back to life. Then there was Brigid, the goddess of poetry, healing, and smithcraft. She was a beacon of light, illuminating the path for the people with her wisdom and nurturing spirit. Her influence was so profound that she was later woven into Christian mythology as St. Brigid. And let's not forget Lugh, the god of all skills. His very name means the Shining One, and shine he did in every field imaginable. He was a warrior, a king, a master craftsman, and a celebrated hero of the Tuatha Dé Danann. This golden age was a time when the world of man and magic coexisted harmoniously, a time when the lines between the mortal and the divine were blurred. It was an era of enchantment, a testament to the glory of the Tuatha Dé Danann. But as history shows, golden ages seldom last. The next challengers to the Tuatha Dé Danann's rule were the Milesians. No sooner had the Tuatha Dé Danann established their reign than they found themselves faced with a new threat. The Milesians, named after their leader, Mil Espain, were a people of strength and cunning. Hailing from the Iberian Peninsula and based on the latest DNA research were Basques, as many people in the west of Ireland today share Basque DNA, and hence where the term Black Irish came from. The Milesians were unlike any other. They were not born of magic or myth, but of flesh and blood. They were warriors, explorers, and poets, embodying the very spirit of humanity. Their arrival signaled a turning point in the story of Ireland, a shift from the ethereal to the earthly, from the magical to the mortal. The first of the Milesians to set foot on Irish soil were Mil's sons, Eber and Ereman. They arrived with the winds of change at their backs, their eyes set on the lush green lands of Ireland. Their presence stirred the air, their ambition echoing in the rustling leaves and rolling waves. The Tuatha Dé Danann, despite their magical prowess, could sense the impending conflict. Their reign, once unchallenged, now stood on the precipice of uncertainty. They could feel the winds of change, the shifting tides. They knew that the Milesians were not just visiting strangers, but claimants to their throne. The tension between the Tuatha Dé Danann and the Milesians was palpable. The air was thick with anticipation, the land holding its breath as the two forces gauged each other. The Tuatha Dé Danann with their magic and wisdom, the Milesians with their strength and determination. It was a clash of two worlds, two ideologies, two destinies. The Tuatha Dé Danann, the children of the goddess Danu, rulers of the mystical realm, and the Milesians, the children of Mil Espain, seekers of a new home. A battle that would decide the fate of Ireland was on the horizon. The Milesians were here, and with their arrival, the future of Ireland hung in the balance. The next chapter in the saga of the Tuatha Dé Danann was about to unfold. The Tuatha Dé Danann, masters of magic and arts, were faced with a foe as formidable as they were relentless. The Milesians were skilled warriors, their tactics sharp, their resolve unyielding. They fought fiercely, employing clever stratagems that challenged the Tuatha Dé Danann at every turn. The battle was fierce, the losses great, but ultimately, the Milesians emerged victorious. The defeat was a hard blow for the Tuatha Dé Danann, but even in defeat, they were not completely vanquished. A treaty was drawn up, a pact that would see the Tuatha Dé Danann retreat from the world of mortals. They would no longer rule the land, but instead inhabit the mystical realm of the otherworld, becoming the Aos Sai, the fairy folk of Irish mythology. The Seedy Mounds, the ancient hills and barrows of Ireland, became their new dwelling places. They retreated into these mounds, disappearing from the world of mortals, but remaining ever present in the landscape and mythology of Ireland. They transitioned from rulers of the land to mystical beings, their power and influence still palpable, but now shrouded in the veil of the otherworld. Their retreat, however, was not an end, but a transformation. As we conclude our journey with the Tuatha Dé Danann, let's revisit their extraterrestrial links. The Tuatha Dé Danann, with their superior knowledge, magical abilities, and otherworldly origin, have often been linked to theories of ancient aliens and ultra-terrestrials. These theories suggest that the Tuatha Dé Danann were not mythical beings, but extraterrestrial or ultra-terrestrial visitors who influenced early Irish civilization. The evidence? Their sudden appearance in Ireland, their technological prowess, and their eventual retreat to the otherworld, a realm that some interpret as a metaphor for outer space, or another dimension that is close to ours. One of the most intriguing aspects of these theories is the connection between the Tuatha Dé Danann and alien abductions. Accounts of abductees, as documented in Jacques Vallée's book, The Invisible College, often mention their captors speaking a language remarkably similar to Gaelic, or having Gaelic names, Gaelic being the native language of Ireland. The abductees were often not aware of this connection at the time, as Gaelic is not a very well-known language. But when language analysis was conducted of the names and words that the abductees heard the alleged aliens using, it was noted that it matched Gaelic, particularly ancient Gaelic. In addition, it is noted that along with Native Americans, those of Irish ancestry have a higher incidence of abduction than the general populace. Also, it should be noted that even today, Ireland is the #1 hotspot in Europe for UFO sightings, remarkable given the small size of the island. Finally, one should not forget the connection between the Rendlesham Forest UFO landing and the mythical island of High Brazil, said to be located off the west coast of Ireland. Could all of these connections be a mere coincidence? Or is it possible that the Tuatha Dé Danann, the ancient gods of Ireland, were actually visitors from another galaxy or dimension who still like to check in from time to time on their Milesian conquerors? The implications of these theories on our understanding of Irish mythology are profound. They challenge us to reconsider our perception of these ancient tales, inviting us to explore the boundaries between myth and reality, between history and fantasy. Whether you believe in these theories or not, they add an intriguing layer to the rich tapestry of Irish mythology, offering yet another perspective on the enigmatic Tuatha Dé Danann. The Tuatha Dé Danann's story is woven into the very fabric of Irish culture. These mythical beings who once ruled Ireland have left an indelible mark on the island's history and identity. Their legacy is as vast as the emerald green landscapes they once inhabited. The Tuatha Dé Danann's influence permeates Irish mythology, literature and folklore. Tales of their magical prowess, heroic deeds, and the mythical treasures they wielded have been passed down through generations. These stories have shaped the Irish narrative, imbuing it with a sense of wonder and mystique. Their retreat to the otherworld didn't diminish their significance. Instead, it transformed them into the enigmatic Aos Sai, the fairy folk inhabiting the Sidha Mounds. These mystical beings still feature prominently in tales told on Irish hearths, serving as a bridge between the ancient past and the present. The Tuatha Dé Danann's legacy is also etched into the Irish landscape. The ancient sites and megalithic structures scattered across the island whisper tales of their reign, from the hill of Tara, believed to be the seat of their high king, to the Brúna Bóin, associated with their great god Dagda. These places serve as living reminders of their mythic past. More than just characters in old stories, the Tuatha Dé Danann are integral to the Irish identity. Their resilience, creativity, and connection to the land resonate deeply with the Irish people, embodying values they hold dear. Their stories continue to inspire, teach, and fascinate, imparting lessons of bravery, wisdom, and respect for nature. The tales of the Tuatha Dé Danann are not merely echoes of a bygone era. They are vibrant threads in the rich tapestry of Irish culture, continually being woven into new narratives. So next time you find yourself in the Emerald Isle, remember to explore the rich mythological heritage of Ireland and see where the legends of the Tuatha Dé Danann came to life. Having journeyed briefly through the mythical annals of the Tuatha Dé Danann, we find ourselves at the end of this captivating saga. But as with all great tales, the end is merely a new beginning. If you would like us to explore more tales and legends of the Tuatha Dé Danann Irish Fae folk legend, the Watchers, or indeed the Ultra-Terrestrials, please let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed our video, please like, comment, share, and subscribe. It costs you nothing but helps the channel out a lot. If you would like to support us on Patreon, you can find our link in the video description and pinned comments. By clicking the link, you can get a 7-day free trial, gaining early access to all of our videos before they appear on social media, full-length reactions and exclusive videos such as our reactions to X-Movie, Wolf's Creek, Band of Brothers, and Rukadjavan Tai. Thank you for joining us on this enchanting journey through the mystical realms of Irish mythology. Until next time, keep exploring, keep discovering, and let the magic of the Tuatha Dé Danann guide you on your own mythical journey.